Alright, hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Music Producer Revolution. This is RedX, and here we are in Ableton with actually a special video. As you see, we're not normally on our daily feedback thread on the Electronic Music Producers subreddit. Today we have a direct Instagram request from Adnan. He's got two songs here that he wanted me to check out. I already kind of pre-listened to them a little bit earlier today just to figure out what style they were. But other than that, didn't do too much. What I will do before we get started is I'm going to go and put on an EQ on each song here. I have that one muted too. And what we're going to do is we are going to, in this short episode, we're not going to give anyone else feedback today. We're trying to move away from the subreddit, even though there's still some communication there with people on Reddit. I'm trying to get you guys all over to the community. What we're going to do is we're going to listen to, this really should be like this. This is the second song, but it's going to be the first one. And here, I'm just going to pay attention to general things that I'm hearing along with the mix. It doesn't sound like it's a really completed song yet, so I'm looking for, or listening rather, for the main ideas being expressed throughout the song and how strong those are and how well that story of that main element in that core idea is being told by the end of the loop. So with all that being said, I'm going to mute. Okay, it's already muted. I've already set all my other parameters, so we're going to go ahead and give this a listen. All right. I have a good idea of where you're going with this song, and I really like the idea of what you are trying to convey, especially with that really almost plucky piano lead. One of the biggest things that I can tell you about this is actually going to be seen over here in the EQ. Primarily here, about 30 seconds is really when the bass starts. Your bass, I don't know if you have several channels that you're using for your bass, but the tail for the sub is definitely too long. Like I hear it as it blends over, and it's it sounds as if there's two different bass elements there that are clashing. It could be that it's a really long extended tail on your sub bass, and then you have it as well on another bass. But if you also notice here, you have even better is going to be here during your break. You have frequencies that are under 30 hertz here, while there's no bass actually playing. So let's see. See how it just kind of cleans it up a little bit too as I moved from 30 out to 100. Like, let's just hear it again at 100, about 150. You really could go up to 220, maybe 240. Okay, so you might say, well, you want a little bit more of that lower mid body. Okay, so roll it back to about 180. And there's not that much noticeable difference, and it does clean up the sound. This is a little bit harder to do like immediately after, but it actually doesn't even sound half that bad at all. So it might be that it's just everything under. Let's see this. Let's see. I normally don't get to do this because a lot of people will just give me their SoundCloud link, so when I can actually open up their files and actually see their waveform, it actually helps. If you put a utility on here, that should clean up just about that. Like that should fix a lot of your issues here. It's still not going to account for the long tail, but this should sound a little bit better. So with that song in particular, there's not really, like everything I just did with making sure that that bass and that kick were properly mixed together. That's really going to be the biggest thing I can say with this track. The melodic elements are very well placed in the mix. As of right now, that some things might be a little bit too loud, but I know that's just really for show purposes. You could soften that. I don't think it's the piano, but it's the other element. It was weird. I want to call that almost like the Maple Story-esque background. That's what it reminds me of. But basically, you could do some slight panning. And even like I did here with the equalizer, you could probably take a little bit more off of your sound than you think you can. And maybe you already know this, but you can probably get away with doing a little bit, with cutting a little bit more frequencies out to create more of that space in the mix, especially with your low ends. Like it's okay with your melodic elements because those are higher up in the in the frequency spectrum, but like your kick and your snare bass, it sounds very muddy down there. So that will be something that I'll be looking to deal with next. With that being said, we're going to go and move on to your next track. Sounds like, but we're going to go ahead and give it a listen. Here we go. Alright, I realized that I was looking partially at the wrong EQ graph, but I think I'm still going to be right about this too. Let me just go back here and actually see. It should be probably here. Yeah, what I'm hearing, and this is something that I saw with this other graph as well too, is that you, I don't want to say enjoy, but for whatever reason right now, your songs have a lot of actual noise. There's a lot of buildup down here in the sub frequencies, um, and I don't know if that's because you aren't making a sub bass that's right for your style of music, or you're not sure how to do so or how to find those. It sounds like it's a little bit more of like a organic instrumentation that is transposed down to a lower octave register. The subharmonic or the sub frequencies here. What I would suggest is, and you kind of did it with this song. It was really noticeable with this song. This song is a little bit better because of the dynamics. Was that your sub bass and your bass could actually not clash as much with your kick if you actually play it a little bit higher or you filter it. In the case of this sub or this bass, there's too many frequencies that are here in this, sub 30 region. And that's really, I mean, we can't even really hear a lot of these elements over here, like 12, 13, 14 hertz, but like 30, 40, 50 hertz, 35 hertz, 50, 60 hertz, we can start to hear that. And again, that's where it sounds like your drums are a little bit like they're clashing with your bass, and so we have to free that. Part of it is to put any frequency that's under, any like sub bass frequency under 100 hertz, under 60 hertz, under 30 hertz. You want to make that mono, and if possible with the transient of your kick, I would make that mono as well. And that's another like production tip. You can kind of break up the actual transient and the waveform on your. Well, I guess you could just use a transient shaper for that. Yeah, you can just use a transient shaper for that. Really like the arrangement though. That, like as you saw, I marked it out here. Normally I would mark like this would be I. So intro, idea 1 or A, idea 2 or B. This really shouldn't be idea 3. It should really go back to idea 1. Well, I mean it is simply idea 3, and then it goes down to idea 2 again to the outro. Like the work though. Thank you for sending the songs in. Really quick, I want to show you what I mean with an example of the bass, because I think it'll be really helpful. I was struggling with this a little bit as well too. I have a few different bass elements, and I might actually have another one in this track. In fact, perfect. Pulled up to my Reese bass here, but my sub is on a lower register. I mean, technically they're on the same one here. This one is actually high, a little high, but this is what my sub bass or my Reese bass sounds like. There is some, I'm experimenting with some sidechain compression so you can hear some of those effects on there. But my sub, if you look at the sub, the width is all the way down. It's mono, the Reese bass. And now I have them both playing, I think, around the same register. I probably could clear that up. I could go with just that one. But that would probably clear it up. Now, you have no idea what this sounds like together, neither do I. So let's hear what it sounds like this. Not bad. I'll give you the context as well. No. Now, the only reason why I don't like that is because I need that low grit that's coming here too. So as long as you're able to balance it, like I have it so that my sub isn't, it's not really going, my sub bass really doesn't go past, other than this high note here. So even if I brought it to 200, which is very rare. And even then, this is sub, so I might not even have it there because I don't need that resonant frequency. This mid-high layer is not actually part of the bass at all, and so I probably need to change it. But it's more like an atmospheric element now. But in the context of everything, yeah, and that's what I'm doing with the bass there. Anyway, thank you, Adan. Everyone else, please submit your music for the next episode of the Music Producer Revolution. This is RedX. Wishing you all a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe, all that good jazz, and I will see you with some more tunes. Peace.